Kat mana? Dah start lagi.
Good afternoon. May I request everyone to take their seat? Excellencies, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, it is my distinct honor to welcome you all. We are grateful for your kind presence. It signifies the gravity of the crisis at hand and manifests your unflinching commitment and persistent efforts to resolve it. We are particularly thankful to Canada, Saudi Arabia, Turkey, Malaysia for co-hosting this event. Muslim community in Rakhine has been subject to systematic marginalization, deprivation, and brutal persecution for decades that compelled them to leave their homeland and take shelter in many countries, including Bangladesh. Latest frequent military operations with genocidal intents since August 2017 led to forceful deportation of 745,000 Rohingya to Bangladesh, totaling 1.2 million, taking into account the previous exoduses. Around 500,000 Rohingya still remain in Rakhine province, many of them in IDP camps under precarious conditions. The independent international fact-finding mission in its latest report warned about the risks of a greater genocide threat for the Rohingyas in Myanmar. The only sustainable solution to this crisis lies in voluntary, safe, and dignified return of Rohingyas to their original place of abode in Rakhine. Despite our earnest efforts, 2 attempts for voluntary repatriation taken up jointly with Myanmar failed. The latest one was on 22nd of last month, because on both occasions, none of the Rohingyas agreed to return for fear of insecurity in Rakhine. All the families interviewed by UNHCR expressed their deep concern over their safety, security, and in Rakhine, and underscored the lack of progress in addressing other core concerns, including freedom of mobility, return to original places of residence, land use rights and occupational permits, access to basic services, citizenship, and of course justice. Everybody has reaffirmed their intent to return to Myanmar once their core concerns are reasonably addressed by Myanmar. Through this, the Rohingyas have again clearly told the global leadership about the crux of the problem. It again proves that building physical infrastructures and facilities such as welcome centers and newly built camps are not enough for repatriation. Myanmar must stop human rights abuses and create conducive environment in Rakhine province fulfilling the recommendations of Kofi Annan Commission. In view of these abortive repatriation attempts, the international community now has to rethink the current situation and find a way to resolve this crisis in the spirit of collective responsibility and international burden sharing. We are here today to hear about the perspective from our distinguished leaders from across the globe. We have a designated speakers list based on prior confirmations. I will exhaust this list first. Meanwhile, others willing to speak may please signify by putting the microphone button or raising your flags. Time permitting, you would also be given the floor. I would therefore urge you all to be brief in your interventions. Without further ado, I would like to give the floor first to Honorable Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Her Excellency Sheikh Hasina. It was her bold decision to open doors to Rohingyas, which not only saved humanity, but also helped evading the second gravest genocide since World War II. You have the floor, Your Excellency, Madam.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Your Excellency, Secretary General, Excellencies, brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It is regrettable that we are passing yet another year without any solution to the Rohingya crisis. The plight of the Rohingyas persecuted in the northern Rakhine State of Myanmar is continuing unabated. According to the UN reports, Rohingyas have been victims of atrocity crimes. Bangladesh has been hosting 1.1 million forcibly deported Myanmar nationals. We have opened our border for those people in the spirit of humanitarianism, which is a pervading moral fiber of Islam. We will continue to do everything possible to ensure the basic needs of the Rohingyas pending their return to their homeland. We have allocated over 6,800 acres of forest land for sheltering them, incurring huge ecological hazard and environmental destruction. Excellencies, we have extended all kinds of humanitarian assistance, including shelter, food, health, water, and sanitation. A considerable number of public sector employees were deployed to coordinate management and law and order in the camps. New and additional physical infrastructures, including roads and power supply arrangements, had to be built on an ongoing basis. 219 medical facilities were set up over time, out of which 50 are being operated by the government of Bangladesh. In terms of financial assistance, as of now, around $120 million has been released from our exchequer for direct assistance to the Rohingya. Among additional measures, by instance, our Ministry of Social Welfare took charge of the 39,841 Rohingya orphans registered so far. As a Prime Minister, I have sanctioned more than $2.5 million from my special relief fund in support of the host community. Excellencies, to address the congestion problem in the camps, as well as to facilitate humanitarian services to the displaced Rohingyas, we have been developing one island, Bhasan the Bhasan Island, with all provision to protect the displaced Rohingyas. In that place, the Rohingyas will be provided with better housing facility and also livelihood opportunity, including health care for all and education system for children. I reiterate the root of the Rohingya problem lies in Myanmar and the solution has to be found in Myanmar. While humanitarian assistance and other supports to the Rohingyas address their immediate needs, it is important to achieve a long-term solution in Myanmar to the protected Rohingya crisis. They must be able to return to their homes where they lived for centuries. The issue of accountability for human rights violations against the Rohingyas would be another crucial factor to ensure sustainable, safe, and voluntary return. Bangladesh is following the ongoing proceedings of the International Criminal Court. We believe that OIC can also play a major role in fulfilling the need to ensure accountability through the ad hoc ministerial group on accountability. We appreciate the adoption of the joint communique of the 14th Islamic Summit Conference of OIC held in Makkah on 31st May 2019. It urged upon the ad hoc ministerial committee led by the Gambia to take immediate measures to launch the case in the International Court of Justice on behalf of the OIC. We believe it is time to act upon the decision expressed in the OIC Summit Joint Communique. Mr. Secretary General, in the past, I had offered 5-point proposal to the United Nations during the 72nd UN General Assembly, which included full implementation of recommendation of Kofi Annan Commission and establishment of a civilian monitored safe zone in the Rakhine State. Let me reiterate the following points which I shall be presenting to the UNGA. First, Myanmar must express clear political will manifested by concrete actions for sustainable return and reintegration of Rohingyas to Myanmar. Second, Myanmar government must build trust among the Rohingyas by discarding discriminatory laws and practices and allowing go and see visit to the northern Rakhine by Rohingya representatives. Third, Myanmar must guarantee security and safety of the Rohingyas, among others, by deploying civilian monitors from international community in the Rakhine State. Fourth, international community must ensure that the root causes of Rohingya problem are addressed and atrocity crimes committed against the Rohingyas are accounted for. OIC initiative to take the issue to ICJ is indeed a significant step towards that direction. Before concluding, I would like to reiterate that Rohingya crisis is a political one deeply rooted in Myanmar. Thus, its solution has to be found inside Myanmar. I thank OIC members for convening this meeting, and I thank you all. Thanks.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Now I have the privilege to give the floor to Honorable Prime Minister of Malaysia, His Excellency Tun Dr. Mahathir bin Mohamad. We understand that he has arrived here straight from the airport. We are grateful for your commitment to the cause of Rohingyas. You have the floor, Your Excellency.
Thank you. Her Excellency Sheikh Hasina Wazed, Prime Minister of Bangladesh, His Excellency Dr. Yusuf Ahmad Al-Uthaymeen, Secretary General of the OIC, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to Her Excellency Sheikh Hasina Wazed, Prime Minister of Bangladesh, for inviting Malaysia to be part of this important event. I would also like to thank the OIC Secretary General and the OIC Secretariat for the excellent work in organizing this meeting. Let us start by calling a spade a spade. What happened in the Rakhine State is genocide. What took place were mass killings, systematic rape, and other gross violations of human rights. These resulted in the Rohingyas fleeing the country en masse. Most ended up in Cox's Bazar. On this, We commend Bangladesh for all it has done in hosting more than 1.2 million Rohingyas refugees. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, while Myanmar is arguing that it was responding to the threat of terrorism, it is ironic that millions fled in fear of such counter-terrorism measures or simply state and institutionalized terrorism. Many faced untold brutality and were even at risk of seeing an entire generation wiped out. Some were able to escape, but these lucky ones are now unable to return to their homes in Myanmar. One thing is clear: the longer the refugees stay in the camps, the more desperate their situation becomes. As it is, the refugees have become vulnerable to other forms of exploitation. They become likely targets for cross-border crimes such as human trafficking and sex slavery, among others. In other words, they can only see a bleak future ahead. The situation in Myanmar is not any better. Many Rohingyas have become internally displaced persons, languishing in camps in Rakhine. When the world likened the IDP camps to those notorious concentration camps of the past, the Myanmar government has been very quick to deny. Yet the Myanmar authorities have denied access to some UN officials and humanitarian aid workers. If Myanmar has nothing to hide, why bar others from seeing the situation in Rakhine? Let these officials and aid workers visit, inspect, and assist those living in the camp. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Myanmar should demonstrate that it is serious in alleviating the crisis. In doing so, repatriation should be the main priority. 2 attempts have been made to repatriate some of the refugees. Both have failed. The reasons for this are obvious. No one would return if they do not feel their safety is guaranteed. On this, Malaysia will continue to insist that repatriation be done in a safe, voluntary, and dignified manner. This can only be done by granting full citizenship to the Rohingyas. However, the Myanmar authorities have manipulated the Rohingya issue to incite fear, hatred, and violence. Thus, merely considering the idea of granting citizenship is unacceptable. It is obvious that Myanmar's attempt on ensuring accountability has failed. How would such attempts work if the perpetrators responsible for the atrocities are part of the system? As it is, none of the atrocities committed in 2017 have been accounted for. Even those convicted for the in-dim mass killings, for example, were released after serving barely 1 year of their 10-year sentence. The conviction was an attempt to deceive us into thinking that they are holding perpetrators accountable. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it is clear that the Myanmar government is unwilling to take any action to resolve the crisis. Therefore, it is left to us, the international community, to do something about the situation. For a start, the UN should play its role, taking into account that it was established in hopes of preventing future human-made miseries. Its silence is deafening. I would like to refer to what happened in Cambodia, when 2 million Cambodians were being killed, practically in full view of the world. Nothing was done. Without Security Council action, others must do their part to resolve the crisis and bring the perpetrators to justice. We commend the positive effort of OIC in addressing the Rohingya issue at this international forum and for the decision to bring the matter to the International Court of Justice. We hope other countries will support the OIC to ensure that the perpetrators do not get away with the heinous crimes that they have committed. Malaysia, on our part, has also tried to do all it can. Apart from rendering humanitarian assistance, Malaysia is operating a field hospital in Cox's Bazar. We are also hosting close to 100,000 registered Rohingya refugees. There are many more unregistered. While this may seem like a small number compared to those in Bangladesh, plenty of resources have been dedicated to allow them a decent life while they await relocation to a third country. We will continue to help the Rohingyas within our means and our capacity. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, Malaysia has done and will continue to do what it can. Nevertheless, we hope others would also join us and Bangladesh in our resolve to end the miseries that have befallen the Rohingyas. We need to put an end to the crisis, and we need to do it now. I thank you.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Now I have the honor to invite Honorable Foreign Minister of Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, His Excellency Dr. Ibrahim Al-Assad. You have the floor, sir.
دولة رئيس وزراء ماليزيا، أصحاب المعالي والسعادة، الحضور الكريم، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أود أن أشارك المتحدثين السابقين بالترحيب بهذا الحضور الكبير والذي يعكس الاهتمام الدولي بهذه القضية الإنسانية. إن ما تقوم به سلطات ماينمار من انتهاكات وقتل وتهجير وتعذيب لمسلمي الروهينجا ينافي جميع مفاهيم التعايش والإنسانية، ونتيجة لاستمرار هذه الانتهاكات من سلطات ماينمار قامت المملكة بجانب منظمة التعاون الإسلامي والاتحاد الأوروبي بتقديم قرار بالجمعية العامة للأمم المتحدة العام الماضي حظي بالتأييد الكاسح من قبل الدول الأعضاء. يطالب هذا القرار من حكومة ماينمار بوقف عمليات التطهير العرقي في حق أقلية الروهينجا المسلمة ومنح هذه الأقلية حقوق المواطنة كاملة، مما يوضح حجم الرفض العالمي لما ترتكبه سلطات ماينمار من انتهاكات لم يشهد لها العالم مثيل منذ التطهير العرقي في رواندا والبوسنة. السادة والسيدات، المملكة لن تتخلى عن أقلية الروهينجا المسلمة في ماينمار، وسوف تقدم العون والمساعدة لهم على الدوام وتدعم قضيتهم. فالمملكة تستضيف ما يقارب 250,000 روهينجي وتقدم لهم كل الدعم والمساعدة، كما أن المملكة لا زالت تقدم دعما غير محدود لهذه الأقلية المضطهدة، حيث قدمت المملكة